Hello, this is Shadow Smash Bro doing a Hero Factory review. And probably the only one I'll ever do. A couple of videos ago I stated that I didn't really get into Hero Factory, but this is just to prove I tried to get into it. It's just that I don't like how it customizes. I mean, there's not the capability that you get with Bionicle, and there's not as much customization as there is in Bionicle. And by the time Bionicle had its 4th generation, it was freaking fantastic. You had so many pieces you could actually make great mocks with, and this is on its 4th generation. It doesn't have that. I just gave up at 2.0 because 1.0 I liked, but 2.0 just not enough pieces I can intertwine with Bionicles. But here's a Hero Factory mock. Let me zoom this out a little bit so you can see him completely. There he is. I'm just gonna I don't do size comparisons very much, but I'm gonna do a size comparison of him to Towa Magma. Let me see if I can get Magma into the frame here. There he is. So yeah. Now moving on to story-wise, I'm gonna get into some deep story right here, so prepare. A long time ago, there was the heroes, and they built, and well, they got to a point where they decided they didn't need to do jobs themselves anymore, and so they started creating new specimens to do these jobs for them. And believe it or not, well, I just fell out of my chair onto my pieces, sorry about that. Believe it or not, these specimens were Bionicles. And they created Bionicles, so now this is my storyline, mind you, but they created Bionicles so they would have it easier. And so the Bionicles were doing work for a while. They were doing a really good job of catching the villains. They were much more efficient than the heroes have ever been, and the heroes started to pat themselves on the back. But then the Bionicles decided that they didn't want to be the slaves of these heroes, and so they declared war, and there was enough of them that the heroes had a difficult time. And not only did they have a difficult time, they lost the war. And he was the only one to live off of it. And the only reason he lived is the first Bionicle created in my storyline, Chronic. Here's Chronic for you, in case you haven't seen him. I'm going to put him behind this guy real quick. I don't have a name for him. I'm just going to come up with one sooner or later, and I'm going to put it in the title, but it's not going to be mentioned here. And I just fell back into my chair because this is a really crappy chair. There we go, I could stand up that time. I mean, it's really comfortable, but it's a really crappy chair. So, here's Chronic. And at the final battle, Chronic decided to spare him, and this is where the Bionicles started having conflict. For the one who shall not be named, and he won't be named for a while now, decided that he needed to die, because he could resuscitate other heroes and they could rise up again and cause trouble. But Chronic tried to reason with him, saying that they brought them to life, so they should at least do them the dignity of saving one of them. And so that's where the conflict between, that's how in my universe, Towa and evil forces began. And so Chronic took a good force of the Bionicles, and the one who shall not be named took a good force of the Bionicles. And now I know this is getting like a little bit selfish at this point, but the great beings well, I guess this isn't really selfish, but the great beings referred into in the Bionicle storyline are basically the heroes. Now, that's how it is in my storyline. So yeah, I got into some deep story right there. And so he's the last living hero. He is not allowed to go anywhere except to his restricted area. He doesn't fight in conflicts, but I just thought I'd show off my only Lego Hero Factory mock. I have a few other Lego Hero Factory pieces, but yeah, I just don't feel like making mocks about them. I mean, this is a very blank and sad mock to me. Basically, now getting into the mock itself, all that's really special about him is the fact that he has kind of like a Super Battle Droid wrist launcher, in which I took Furno's like, I guess, goggle piece and mixed it with Stormer's head. Well, this has been a 6-minute Shadow Smash Bros. Review. Shadow Smash Bros. Signing off.